So, we're already 2 weeks into 2021, and up to 80% of you have already failed your New Year's resolution. But it's not too late. Stay tuned. In this video, I'm going to talk about the stats behind New Year's resolutions and why you fail yours, plus how to not fail them and how to actually take control of your goals. First, I'm going to start off by mentioning some stats about New Year's resolutions. According to Forbes, studies show that up to 80% of people who set New Year's resolutions fail them. But let's get just a little bit more specific. A survey conducted by Statista found that just 4% of people completed all of their New Year's resolutions in 2018. In other words, 96% of people failed their New Year's resolutions in 2018. This is not just a recent trend in history. It's not just some random shit that's happening. It's been happening ever since we can remember. Take a look back in 1977. The University of Scranton conducted a survey and found that 77% of people stuck to their New Year's resolution for just 1 week. And in 1988, another study from the Journal of Substance Abuse Treatment, they found that only 55% of the participants in New Year's resolutions lasted for just a month. So as a general rule of thumb, approximately 80% of people are going to fail their New Year's resolutions by mid-February. So now we're going to move on to why people fail your New Year's resolutions and why you probably already did too. And number one is you're setting goals that are too vague and too comfortable. The thing is, with setting goals, if you set them in the realm of your comfort zone, it creates an environment that is comfortable to you, and being in your comfort zone is not suitable to success. And the reason is because the only way you can grow, and we all know this, the only way you can grow is to get out of your comfort zone. Vague goals are going to lead to vague results. And that goes in the sense of your mind can't have a direction of what it can do to reach that goal in the first place. Another point about setting goals that are too comfortable is that when you set goals that are vague and comfortable, that means you're half foot in, half foot out, because you're afraid to take that extra step and burn the bridges behind you. And with that, you're more likely to step back into your comfort zone and fail your goal. You're always going to naturally second guess yourself if you're only half in. The second reason why most people fail the New Year's resolutions, and it's the one that I've seen a lot and the one that I've practiced a lot, is having an unquestionably low level of discipline. Here's the deal. Discipline is the number one thing that keeps you going with anything in life. This is exactly why you're going to fail mid-February, and that's because you rely off of motivation to set these New Year's resolutions or these goals or anything you want to do in your life in general. Then your motivation runs out and you feel like, I don't have any motivation anymore. I'm going to wait till I get motivation back to keep going. Or you can practice discipline, and discipline is something that you can physically practice with yourself. So you practice discipline and you take disciplinary action upon yourself so that you can actually complete your goals and keep going through. And if we're going to be truthful, only successful people make discipline a habit. Iman Gadi, for example, entrepreneur, multimillionaire, 20 years old. One of his core values that he holds to himself is discipline. He's always practicing disciplines such as taking breaks from caffeine, taking breaks from alcohol, and taking breaks from eating bad food, and levels of discipline to get him working throughout the day. Let's take Elon Musk, for example. He just became the richest person in the world. He works 100 hours a week. Do you really think discipline is not a role in that? You think he has motivation to work 100 hours per week? I don't think so. That takes an unquestionably high level of discipline, or an alien, or a lizard. And here's the thing, like I said, if you rely just on motivation, you will lose the motivation by the second week of February. And that is just statistics, and that is how it's been seen, and that's how we've been doing this, because by February, you're going to be done. By now, you're mostly done. You might be still thinking about your goals, but you're mostly already failed them. The third reason why you always fail your New Year's resolutions is because you literally forget about them. Let's be real. A lot of times you'll set goals, and let's say you write them on a board. 2 weeks go by and you forget the goals even on the board. Let's take flossing, for example. You set a goal to floss every day. For the first week, you floss every day. You miss 1 day. And then in 1 month, you find a flossing kit and you're like, oh shit, I forgot to floss. You literally forgot about your goals. And the thing about setting these goals is you need to embed them in your soul. We'll go into more on that later. Another thing that you need to be keenly aware of is that you need a paradigm shift that goes from setting goals to reaching goals. Make this year about reaching your New Year's resolutions, not setting New Year's resolutions. And this will just drastically change the way you think about them. Now it's time to go over how you can overcome this and how you can actually go towards your goals. Number one is you need to set specific goals, or at least a specific direction for your goals. Most of us set goals that are very vague, and not just vague, but they're just unspecific. How are you going to reach a goal if your brain has no idea what direction to take to even get to that goal? Here's a little example. My goal is to make $300,000 this year. Now, the goal itself is vague, but I can vividly imagine what I can do to make $300,000, and that is what I do every day. The thing with our brains work with anchor points. So what you can do is set specific goals and set specific direction to reach that goal, and this allows your brain to have a direction. When it thinks about the goal, it feels like it's already done the goal, and it feels like it's already gone through the process of reaching that goal instead of having no idea what to do. And here's the thing, a lot of us forget about concepts such as the slide edge effect. The slide edge effect is actually super important for setting goals and reaching goals, because the idea of the slide edge is that you just get 1% better every single day then you'll be 36 times better in 1 year. And that's just the compounding effect of consistent effort. Now with this, of course, you need discipline, high level of discipline, and you also need a direction. You need to have a direction of where you're going, because how are you going to get 1% better every single day if you don't know how to get better? And another point to this is super important and super underrated, is you need to make a goal that is uneditable, and you need to make it like very concrete to where you can't change it. You won't realize how powerful it is to set concrete goals until it's too late. Here's an example. Let's say you're in a very clear state of mind going into the new year, and you have a goal that you want to lose 30 pounds. When it gets hard, you're kind of going to be like, well, I should just teach myself self-love and I should do all this. So you're literally tricking your brain to do a paradigm shift to where it thinks of your goal differently. I don't know, it's just really important to set goals that are concrete so that you're not changing them as you go. Alright, the second way that you can overcome failing your New Year's resolutions is to start practicing discipline. For one, really the thing you need to realize is that you're a little bitch, and you just stop being a little bitch in order to practice discipline, because discipline takes a lot out of you. You have to actually do it yourself. So start doing things that practice discipline. For example, I have a very disciplined action that I do. But before I get into it, I'm going to explain why I started in the first place. So I have a lot of things that are like disciplinary action. For example, what time I wake up, how I read my books, what I do in the morning, what I eat at certain times of the day, and as well as NoFap, a lot of stuff like that. And the thing is, I have so many of these disciplinary actions. It's kind of set. I'm kind of settled with it. And so I needed to find a way to actually increase my discipline without adding another disciplinary action that throws off my life. So what I started to do is take action at work. And it sounds super stupid. I used to not give exact change. I would just round up or something when I gave change out. Hopefully I don't get fired, because Muriel will probably watching this. I never really gave exact change for a while. I would just give like the benefit of the doubt. Be like, alright, so 73 cents, I'll give you 75. But I started giving exact change almost no matter what. And what this allows me to do is practice discipline in other areas where discipline doesn't seem to matter. It trains yourself how to be disciplined even when things don't seem like you need to be. And actually, the real reason why I started this disciplinary action is because I wanted to test myself to see how I would react into getting the vaccine, because the vaccine to most people seems like no big deal. But the shit that I know about vaccines and the shit that I know about the deep industries, I'm not getting the vaccine. So I wanted to practice discipline now to see if I would even be ready and prepared to get the vaccine, or to just say no altogether. And that's really why I started giving exact change, because it's something so small, but also getting the vaccine is so small, but it has a drastic effect on your life. Number 3 for how you can overcome failing your New Year's resolutions is to meditate on it and write it down every single morning. Here's the thing. Right when you wake up, if you're writing affirmations or if you're writing your goals, that automatically wires your brain to think about that goal throughout the day. Your subconscious mind will be focusing on ways it can actually do that goal and attain the goal, and you just don't really notice it. Instead of having it something you're trying to be a part of, you're already making it a part of you, making it that much easier to reach. And as Psycho-Cybernetics coins by Maxwell Maltz, I believe, he talks about, I think it's about Maxwell Maltz. He talks about how you need to like set goals for yourself and allow it to seep into your subconscious mind, and then don't worry too much about it, so that your subconscious mind can figure out its own ways to do it, because your subconscious mind is what is your problem solver. I'll get more on this Psycho-Cybernetics deal later. Alright, so now I know all this can sound pretty overwhelming, and it's like, okay, how do I even start to do all this? So I'm going to give you one simple thing that you can start to do, and this is how you can practice all of this at one time, and it's reading books. And I know it sounds stupid, but you don't understand the power of reading books until you do it. And I don't know how to get that into people's heads, and hopefully like you kind of understand. Alright, so the top recommended book I can tell you about right now is Deep Work by Cal Newport. Right now that book is actually 50% off, so if you want to grab it right now and like save some money, you can go ahead. Basically what this book teaches you is, it teaches you how to work deeply and what deep work really means. It teaches you the truth behind your procrastinative mind, and how you do things that you don't realize make you procrastinate, but like it does. And an idea I want to share with you from that book, Deep Work, is embracing boredom. A lot of us, while we're eating or something, or while we're waiting, we'll go on our phones, and because we need that stimulus. Basically the whole idea is to start embracing the boredom of when you're eating and not looking at anything. You're just eating. This teaches you how to just be kind of present and how to just embrace boredom, literally just embracing boredom. So if you have a really busy schedule and you feel like you can never juggle everything, Deep Work will probably change your life. And that's just me being completely honest. Especially those of you who have busy schedules, Deep Work will be a super life-changing book. Like I said, it's 50% off right now. Like, if you're watching this as soon as it drops, it's 50% off. The second book that I recommend to be able to implement all these ideas right now is The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. Now, this book teaches you about habits, the power of habits, and how you can create new habits and get rid of old bad habits. So just to share like a very small detail from the book is the habit loop. I just had to grab the book real fast. The habit loop is cue, routine, and reward. So basically, for an example, let's say a smoker. The cue is you're stressed. And then the routine, you grab a cigarette, you light it, and you smoke it. And the reward is you feel less stressed out. And that's just the nature of habits and how they work. So another example that a lot of you can actually relate to more is, here's a cue, you feel fatigued and you feel tired. So the routine is you go buy coffee or you go buy an energy drink, and it's just kind of a habit. You don't really think about it much. You kind of just do it, and then the reward, you feel energized. So that's just the nature of habits and how they work. The way you change a habit is you change the routine that leads to the reward. So once you hit that cue, maybe you can change that to starting to meditate. You meditate, and that's the routine, but you get the same reward, which is feeling less stressed. And that's just a little glimpse of how it all works. Yeah, right now I'm looking through Psycho-Cybernetics, trying to find an idea I want to share. Alright, so the idea I mentioned earlier about your subconscious mind is the one that solves problems. I just found the notes in my book. So your conscious brain is what finds the problems, but it's not what solves the problems. Give up the responsibility of your forebrain to handle the problems and let your subconscious do the work for you. That's basically it. Before ending off this video, there is a note guide that I wrote from Psycho-Cybernetics, and basically this teaches you about your success mechanisms and your failure mechanisms and how the brain works. This is really important because this will teach you how goals work with your brain and how your brain sets itself up for success and failure. So if you want to learn about how your failure and success mechanisms work, go in the description and check out the document I made, and yeah, it'll help you a lot. Also, before I go, I want to mention again that the links to the books I recommended are in the description, and the reason why I mention these books as a final reminder is because they allow you to practice every idea that I taught to you all in one, because they kind of share all the ideas and you'll naturally progress as you read the books. Yeah, that's basically it. So